Hey, what is up, all moviegoers? TCT here again, and I just got out of seeing Marvel's Deadpool 2, starring the great Ryan Reynolds. That's what he would like you to know when you watch Deadpool. Every other joke is, I'm Ryan Reynolds. What did I think of this movie? Now, I am going to give a little bit of spoilers because there's some things I like about this movie. I'm not going to get too much into detail because this is one of these breaking the fourth wall movies you got to experience for yourself. So if I give too much away, it's going to ruin the entire thing. Did I like it better than the first one? I thought they were almost equal. I didn't like it better than the first one because I was bored a little bit through the middle, and I didn't like what they did with the antagonist and with Cable. I didn't like that. Josh Brolin was fine as Cable. I just didn't like what they did. He felt very boring and bland. That's one thing I was fearing was going to happen to Cable in this movie. But Josh Brolin, I mean, he was fine, but I mean, they didn't give Cable nothing except action. Really, hardly any story. I'm like, and Cable just came out of nowhere in the film. Cable just came out of nowhere. They didn't build towards Cable appearing. They didn't do anything. This movie was basically Ryan Reynolds' story. It starts out very good. It starts out him and Vanessa, and it starts out basically he needs to one-up Wolverine for dying in Logan, which is kind of messed up if you would say so. But we all know Deadpool can't die, not when he's able to use his superpowers, which does come into play later. They have collars in this movie that take away mutant powers that come into play. I'm not going to give too much away about that, but I did enjoy that part. I enjoy the whole X-Force part. He does somewhat bring in an X-Force that has a couple of names that you know. Funny moments involving the X-Force. Very funny moments involving the X-Force. I will say that probably the funniest part of the film is the parachuting out of the plane or the helicopter that they use with the high winds. That's the funniest part of the film. So look out for that. I mean, you've probably already seen the film. This is coming out way too late. I just haven't been able to see the film. I've been working, and I'm sorry about that. One character that really impressed me in this movie, and I hope they bring her back, was Domino. I love characters that don't have much of a mutant power, but her power was luck, and I love characters like that because you can do anything with them. Characters that don't have a physical ability, it's more like an ability that they just inherit. Domino was just she was a luck mutant. Lucky things would happen to her, and that's one thing I enjoyed about Domino. I enjoyed the fact that he was trying to make friends with the X-Men and Colossus, and we got more of those X-Men jokes. Where are the X-Men? Great cameo, by the way. You guys will know what I'm talking about at the beginning of the film when he goes into the X-Men. When he goes into Xavier's school. Great cameo. I'm not going to spoil the cameo because you're going to laugh when you see it. It involves one of his X-Men jokes, but it is a phenomenal cameo that had me smiling. But what am I going to rate Deadpool 2? It had a lot of breaking the fourth wall in it. To me, though, I wasn't very impressed. I love the action in it. The action in it was fine. It felt like the first movie had a little bit more story. This one was very personal, though. This one was more of a revenge movie, but he like he says at the beginning, this is going to be a family film Deadpool, a family Deadpool. So at the end of the film, you're realizing this was a rated R family film. It kind of was, and I'm okay with that, but I also don't like that. So what am I going to rate this Deadpool? The last Deadpool got a 4 out of 5 because I loved it. It was funny. This one was funny, but it was lagging, man. It was lagging a little bit. Like, the action was fine. Everything from the first Deadpool was here, except it was lagging in certain areas, and I don't like that when it comes to comical movies. That Deadpool relies on comedy, but you gotta have a story in a comedy or it's not gonna work. This one worked, but it didn't work as good as the first movie in my book. It was funny. It had good action. I'm going to give this Deadpool and I hate doing it, but I've got to be honest, I'm going to give it a 3.3 out of 5, a 3.3 out of 5. I was not very impressed as I was with the first film, but because it's not memorable. The first film was very memorable. This one's not memorable. Like it's something I know I'm going to forget. It's going to be like one of those lost sequels. I mean, there was a lot of funny moments. There was a lot of good moments, but nothing that sticks with you. People are like, maybe they can do this in the future. No. This was a very hit and miss movie. There's some parts you're going to remember, some parts you're not, and I don't like that. I want this break the fourth wall movie. I want them to be epic. Deadpool is a very hit or miss character. He's going to hit or miss with a lot of the jokes. I hope on the Blu-ray that they have a lot of deleted scenes. I'd love to hear some of the other jokes. I'd love for them to cut. You know what? With Deadpool, I know they shoot a lot of jokes. Cut 2 or 3 versions of the movie and sell it. That will sell. Cut the theatrical version. Cut a version 2 with jokes. Cut a version 3 with jokes. Hell, even go Final Destination 3 and let people choose what kind of movie they want to watch. I mean, but in all view, Deadpool 2 gets a 3.3 out of 5, but one other thing I'm going to say I like about this film was the music. The music was great, especially for, and this is a spoiler alert, especially for the Juggernaut. Juggernaut is here. Holy shit, the Juggernaut is here. Like, they were singing chorus like an orchestra would. Juggernaut, it's the Juggernaut. Holy shit, it's the Juggernaut. Like, they would do shit like that in the songs. And then the X-Force song, which was fantastic, man. The X-Force song, X-Force, you know, X-Force. You know, they would sing. I don't want to say too much about what was in the song because I don't want to get striked here on YouTube for that kind of profanity, but like I'm going to say, Deadpool 2, 3.3 out of 5. That's my opinion, but this, yeah, they could have done a lot better with this, especially with Cable. I was a little disappointed with Cable. Like I said, Josh Brolin was fine as Cable. Great choice as Cable. They didn't give him enough. Like, it wasn't enough screen time to me for Cable, and it didn't revolve around him. He felt like a really bad side character, and I just don't like when you advertise someone like Cable as a big part of the movie and you hardly give him anything, man. Like, I mean, the movie went by a good 20-30 minutes before you even saw Cable, and he just comes out of nowhere, and I don't like that. I need you to build me towards Cable. The way I would have done it, I know the movie opens with a very personal scene with Deadpool. I would have opened it with Cable, and then did Deadpool's little opening, and then did the personal shit with Deadpool. Because you market it towards Cable. Everybody knows who Deadpool, you're coming to see Deadpool, but you market it towards Cable, and he needs a strong opening in order to get people invested in him. I didn't feel invested in Cable. I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't feel invested in the kid that shoots fire out of his hands. I didn't feel invested in that. I thought the whole thing was kind of dumb.